Good afternoon and welcome to Finding the Joy in the Journey. My name is Gina Kovario-Krupka and I am Reverend Gina. I am actually the Senior Minister of CSL Greater Boston as well, as part of this fabulous prayer team here at New Thought Media Network. And today is Finding the Joy in the Journey. And we are going to talk about just that. Where you are, it's appreciating the joy right here and right now. Too often we go through life with what I call destination happiness. Well, when I have the right relationship, then I'll be happy. When I meet the right person, when I go to when the right opportunities happen for me, then I'll be happy. When I lose weight, then I'll be happy. When I retire and vacation, then I'll be happy. But the thing is that joy is inherent. It is an inherent nature of divine. You have all that you need within you at any point to choose joy. But sometimes we get so busy, we forget. You know, as you're going up the side of a mountain, the view is beautiful every step of the way, not just when we get there. So I encourage you to be right here, right now, and appreciate the joy in life and understand that you get that opportunity. And that's what this show is all about. It's about being the change you wish to see in the world and making it more joyful. So today we have guests that are going to do that in an amazing way. I have two people that are phenomenal in bringing joy to people in so many ways, and we're going to talk all about it. Today we're blessed to have Rev Melissa Felipe and Rev Z Egloff, who are here today to talk about what they do. Their ministry, Oh My God Life, is all about joy and experiencing more of it in your life. So I want to give you an idea, a little bit more about what they do and how they do it.
And I know now, like I didn't totally that day, but I began to, the truth that every breath I take, every breath you take is the evidence that Spirit wants you here, now, doing and being who and what you are. That is the truth.
Share your all with the one, share your bliss with the one, share your colors with the one. There's only one. Share your dreams with the one, share your energy with the one, share your freedom with the one. Cause there's only one. Share your...
I know that when things get crazy, I cling to my faith. I cling to my spiritual practice. Because where I see betrayal, God sees opportunity. Where I see chaos, Spirit sees new beginnings. And when I see terror, God sees love. God sees love and only love.
Love is the only truth, and the only truth is love. Love is the only truth, and the only truth is love.
Come on, pay attention.
Yeah.
There's no need to wait. Fortify your faith.
So these two amazing ministers, Rev Z is a cartoonist with spoken word artist and an award-winning author of the spiritual humor blog, Life in Z to D, a goofball's guide to enlightenment. Their wife, Reverend Dr. Melissa Felipe, is a singer, songwriter, and teacher with 9 albums of original music that have been released. Both of them hold Masters of Consciousness studies. Rev Z also holds a Master's in Spiritual Psychology, and Rev Melissa has an honorary doctorate for her contributions to the field of New Thought music. They are the founders of Oh My God Life, an online traveling ministry, and their mission is to bring radical joy to the world. So it isn't any wonder why I have invited them to finding the joy in the journey. So please welcome my guests.
Hello.
Hello and
Hi,
welcome.
Tina. Oh, thank you for having us.
Yeah,
What
we're
a gift it is to have you here.
Thank you. It's so fun.
You have so many facets to what you do, and I want to try to get to as much as we can in this time together, and it always flies. And I'm going to be putting up information as we go to make sure that people can find you.
cool.
That people can reach you, and they can, go to your website. They can find you on YouTube, on Facebook, and they can contact you. So throughout the hour, I will make sure that I have that information up there. And that way people can actually find their way to you, because you are everywhere that people want to be. You just have such a wonderful spirit. And I was blessed to meet you through the Holmes Institute, Rev Laura, actually through her class. And it was just such a gift. So I would love for you to, how are you today? Tell us a little bit of how it is to be home, because I know you travel so much. How are you?
We just been home. This is our 4th week home.
Yep.
And this last tour was the Northwest and California, Oregon, and Washington, almost into Canada, just right at the edge.
Yeah, right on the edge. Yeah.
And we're just back. And actually, we aren't going to be doing it this way in the future, but for this particular in between, our time home is very brief, because we're leaving again in February and going out for 4 months to go east, south and then east, as far out as Ohio, Kentucky, and like that. And then back, and that one will be 4 months, as I think I said, and
which is our longest tour yet.
That will be the longest.
A 4-month tour, yeah.
It wasn't planned that way, and then Spirit had other ideas, so it turned into that. So so there will be. So, and when we're home, we are especially focused on creating the content that goes out. So the videos and the blogs and the memes, in the case of Z doing the cartoons, all of that goes out weekly from us, from our Oh My God Life things, all those platforms you saw listed. And so we do our best, and so far we've done well, and we'll see how we do this time, having most of that content created before we head out to tour, because touring, we're like communicating with the events and the places where we're about to go to, and sending them files and music and organizing details and all of that stuff, and then just getting from place to place and eating, and anything you do in living in a van takes longer than when you're at home, and like that. So we're kind of in this, both we had 3 weeks to kind of get home, and now we're kind of in this crunch again of getting ready. We don't normally do that quick of a turnaround. We usually have more, and actually when we come home from that 4-month tour, we're not touring again in that way for the rest of the year, next year. So
good for you. Get it out of the way.
Pace ourselves.
Yeah, it's a process.
And I want people to know, just so they know, this is Tools for Radically Joyful Living. This is from your website, and it is truly who you are. For those of you that have never had the experience of watching the two of you or hearing the two of you, it is such a gift. And I encourage people, you have On your website, there's so much information. It is a fun place to be. You have a daily email that you send out with cartoons and just a happy message. And I actually do an instant inspiration. It's similar. It's just a happy idea. It's so important to get that smile in your inbox. How did that start?
Okay, let me see. Well, when I was still in ministerial school, I started the blog, the Life in ZD blog, and I was at that point I was blogging weekly. So that was one of the threads that sort of started the ministry when we were still in school. And then at one point in the middle of the night, I heard a voice that said, "Start cartooning," because when I started the blog, I was getting pictures that I was using, like, I think the service is called Flickr or Flickster, where you can get pictures that people used. As long as you say who did the picture, you can get it for free like that. So I was illustrating the blog with pictures, but I got this message from Spirit a few years in, like, start cartooning, because I hesitate to even call myself a cartoonist, but sure, we'll say that. I'm a cartoonist.
Well, you have an entire book of cartoons.
I have a very simple style of drawing, though.
But you already had been doing that when you were a kid.
Yes.
So you brought it back.
I like to draw. So I started including the cartoons in the blog, and then people kept saying, well, you should do memes. You should do memes. And it took me a while to kind of figure out how to do that, but eventually I did. And it's actually really cool because I still am cartooning for my blog. And so I write a blog, and then I have to illustrate it with some cartoons. And then I have, say, 4 cartoons. Well, I got to come up with a meme for those 4 cartoons. It makes it easier to come up with that. And so from there, I now have enough memes. We did 1 book already, Everyday Joy. So it's got 366, I think, because it includes leap year. So there's it's a daily inspirational guide, but we have almost all the material for a second one already, and there will be a third one. We'll probably stop there. But so once I'd compiled enough of these memes, we thought, well, we already have a mailing list. It's weekly. We send out free inspirational content weekly now. Those are the blogs and the videos. But we just thought, for those people who want a little more, we could do Monday through Friday memes. So that's what we started doing. And so it was this organic process, but it all started with me waken up in the middle of the night by Spirit saying, do cartoons.
Which is often how things come to us. Like, we just get this, either of us, but Z often wakes up with information, news flash, in the morning. And sometimes I say no. I don't always say yes to Spirit right away. But in this case, I think with the cartoons I did, I'm like, oh, that could be cool. All right, I'll try that. But that's how the spoken word stuff that we do.
That one I said no. At first.
And let's let people know a little bit about that. Now, Rev Melissa, your background in music, you've been doing music for years, and you have
my life,
beautiful, just amazing music, and you're all over YouTube, and it's wonderful. And again, I want to make sure people know how to reach you and to look all of that up. They can like you on Facebook and YouTube, and it's all under Oh My God Life. So I encourage people to look you up. And you then added spoken word to it.
Right.
Just and that you saw in that video clip.
Yeah. So what happened is that I'd been doing the music thing in New Thought movement for a long time, decades, right? And I was a traveling singer, songwriter, musician in the New Thought movement back in the day, way back in the day. At Sillamar, when we were going there and stuff. So I had been doing that, and I burned out, and I had to take a break, and that's another whole separate story. But I did that. I took a break, and I thought, I'm done. I really thought I was not going to come back to it. And I healed my body. I was extremely fatigued. I had burned out my adrenals, and I healed my body. And then I had been hearing a call for decades by then to go to ministerial school. And of course, like a lot of us, I'd been saying, no, that's not. I kept thinking it's my ego, and I'm not going to do it for my ego. And then a friend pointed out, you've tried to say no to this every which way, and it won't shut up. That's not ego, that's spirit, right? So I took one last look and decided that it was actually a calling from the divine. And so I went to ministerial school, and right when I started ministerial school, Z and I connected, and actually tomorrow will be 14 years ago.
Oh, how wonderful.
It's really sweet. Yeah.
It's 14 years of us hanging out for the first time and falling in love
without
not realizing yet that it took us a little while to figure out what was going on.
2.5 months later, we realized, yeah. So, but that was tomorrow, 14 years ago.
Yeah.
So anyway, we started ministerial school. I started, but very soon after, Z went to ministerial school. I was just performing at our school, at our Santa Rosa CSL. At that point, I was covering the Sundays a lot musically, and Z was often, because Z plays piano as well as I do, but Z was became my piano player. And for a while at the beginning, that was our on stage experience of.
Well, and it was cool actually, because when I first saw you, before we met, when I saw you at a service, you were always behind the piano,
behind the piano,
behind the piano with your reading glasses on, playing the piano and singing, right? And so that was kind of step one of what we do now, because since I was actually accompanying the choir at Center for Spiritual Living in Santa Rosa here in California, and then Melissa, right?
Which freed me.
That meant, since I was playing the piano for her now, she she had someone who was sort of a dedicated accompanist, and I could learn all her songs and make sure you know them, because it's hard.
And became like the band liaison person.
So she could then go out front and be a singer, which is a very different experience when you're singing in that way. So that was kind of like step one.
And it really elevated my experience of fuller self-expression, and what I feel like was then a better experience for people, right? Because they could get more, because I was available to give more. So that was the first iteration. And then Z had another one of those downloads before a class, which you should tell that.
Well, so I was in, let's see, what was the class? Metaphysical Bible. Did you have that class?
Yes.
Yeah. So I was in Metaphysical Bible, and the teacher said, do a project. The final project was on the evolution of the history of consciousness. And the teacher said, do something creative. And in my head, in class, pops a little voice again, said, do a rap. And I said, no, I'm not.
No way.
I'm not going to do that.
A rap of the evolution of consciousness. I need to hear this.
No,
I need to hear this.
Well, it's called Big Bang, Biggity Bang, and it's on our first CD. Our first CD
on YouTube.
Is Wrapped in Love, which you can also find on our website, and you can hear the whole thing there. So
I wrote that one down. I'm going back for that.
Big Bang, Big Bang, Biggity Bang. So his beginning.
It is brilliant.
So I said no, but then I came home and Melissa's like, you have to do that. And then she did background tracks. And so that was the first one of what we now call word songs. So it's a combination of Melissa singing, me doing spoken word, her also vocalizing when I'm speaking. It's kind of a whole thing. And so we didn't know that then, though. We just thought it was a one-off, and it was this kind of wacky little thing we did for class. But now we have 2 CDs so far. We're almost finishing a third one. So word songs for us it's always very hard to describe to people. We like that you showed the reel, because that explains it a little bit more.
Yes.
Because it's a little different.
And live, there's so much joy in it. That's one of the things about it. It really has such joy. I haven't had the privilege of seeing you live, but seeing those, I can picture how much fun the room is having with you. We can hear them singing along with you. Yeah. It's wonderful.
We love to involve other people. We love the experiential things that we can do with this. And some people are less intimidated to speak than to sing. So when I have people join me, I think some people are fine doing both, but some people are kind of, I'm not a singer, I can't do that. And so I think there's often more willingness to join when it's spoken word, and we'll do movements and things. So we love it. We love doing that.
It is the best. Yeah. It's my favorite thing, although it's hard to say that I have a favorite thing, because I love we joke and laugh about it all the time, but it's true. Like when we're sitting in our office doing emails, we're each on our computer, and we're like, we do this thing now. We've gotten more and more connected in all of our work, and we write an email and then we read it to the other, and we edit each other's everything, right?
You might want to say it like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's a wonderful thing, but that's a lot to be with your partner 24/7
all the time,
and on the road and all of that. I mean,
in a tiny space on the
in
road.
a van. I mean, like,
it's a very fortunate thing that we like each other so much that we can do that, and we are more and more in love rather than less and less.
Although one of the key things that does that is we have Monday as an unplugged day. Including on the road. We take Monday as an unplugged day, and we do not talk to each other. We go do our own thing. We don't do ministry. We just do like fun things. We watch our fun shows and movies and read and do whatever, meditate, do what we want. But that's a sacred thing. We do it all the time, all year round. And sometimes we do longer stretches alone. Like we have that coming up where we're going to take time each out at the ocean in the van by ourselves. So we really make sure that we have our alone time as an ongoing practice, because to me, that makes me able to do everything. It makes me able to be in partnership with Melissa as much as we are, but also just to go out in the world and do our ministry, because we're both actually introverts.
I know.
And so,
crazy.
That unplugged,
we're like really introverts. Yeah. Really like.
So that unplugged Monday is just, and sometimes expands to be a little bit more than one day, is an absolute lifesaver for us. Game changer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wonderful.
So yeah, it's but what we laugh at is how much just that being in the office doing emails together is so fun for us. We're just having so much fun because doing our ministry clearly to us seems to be our dharma. It is our like what we were put here for. Can't even explain it. You know, I did decades alone before, and I always felt like I want to do this with my person, you know, and my person during those years was David, and he was a physician. It was like not going to be what he was doing, you know, just wasn't a fit. So
and I kept waiting for my thing, you know. I was an English major in college, and then I ran a farm in my 30s, and then I got a degree in psychology, counseling, and did social work, and then I was writing fiction. I just kept, and everything was close, but not quite it. And so this now, what we're doing is like an amalgamation of all those other things, all those other threads. But it took, and I knew as a kid that I kind of had this, like literally a vision that I was going to be doing some kind of performing, and but it took a while for it all to come together. So I think for both of us, it's answered prayer. We're in our dharma. We're doing what we're supposed to do.
And it keeps unfolding.
And it took a while to get here.
Right.
Too. So
we didn't start off doing video, and we didn't start off, you know, it's like, it just keeps evolving. It just keeps changing.
Yeah.
Well,
we have a new thing we're doing next year, and it just kind of keeps, what were you going to say?
So I was going to say, when you truly love what you do, it's not work. I mean, it can be exhausting, and it's still a lot, and it takes boundaries, and it can feed you as much as it takes from you. Yes. So if you're doing it in proportion, and you have your boundaries, and you know, this is safe for me, this isn't, it gives you the opportunity to recharge while you're doing it. It brings you that joy.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the biggest learning curve for us right now that we're in the midst of, is becoming more honoring of what are appropriate boundaries for us. They're stricter than we would like them to be, because we're such introverts, and because of the work we're doing is taking so much from us. I don't mean taking like, oh, poor us. I mean, it's just time and energy, right? And when we're on the road, we're really learning. When we're on tour, it's about the tour and the work of the tour and recovering so we could do the next one.
Yeah.
That's it. We're not socializing or becoming tourists. We're just resting and doing the next event, you know.
And it's taken us a while to figure that out, or we're learning. So it's great. I mean, I feel like we have so much support too. We've had, I mean, when we've come home on this tour, we've had a few friends who've really helped us see like, this is how you can do this better next time and like that. So I feel like we have a lot of support with it too, which is great.
Yes.
Wonderful.
But, you know, it's hard to say no. I have this note on my desk right now that is, I would hold it right up to the thing, but I realize it will unfocus the camera. But it says no is a sacred yes.
Yeah, you can see it.
So that is my reminder that every time I say no to something that is a no, I mean, there are things we say yes to. We're here with you, right?
Yes.
But there's a lot more no than yes going on right now. We're being asked to do a lot of things, especially right now. We're not focusing there. I'm on video, so I edit and create the videos that go out. So, I mean, Z, we edit everything, right, of each other's work, but I am the video person. And I'm in the midst of creating 18 videos in the next few weeks. You know, that's insane.
I want to make sure I let people know about those. So, but while we're here, I want to make sure we talk about that. You have different types of videos. You have people when they go on YouTube, it's not just music. You also have meditation videos, and you have different types of spiritual practices. So for people that are looking for a different way to understand or experience spiritual practices, it's a wonderful way to look into that, because it's not the way, you know, it's not just sitting there going om in a room alone. It is definitely a different experience. And I'm someone that needed that. I needed guided meditation. I needed to learn it a different way because I didn't know how to be still.
Yes.
So finding peace looks different for different people. And you have a different way of that experience. So I want to encourage people, if you haven't found your way yet, and that's part of what the show is about. You know, everybody says, well, you know, of course, who wouldn't want more joy in your life? Well, the whole thing is, well, how do I get there? How do I experience it? And people think, well, I need to do this first and I need to do that first. And really the answer is no, because in the doing, you're missing the point. It's the being that allows us to experience what it is that we have. But you know, we're human beings, not human doings, but we weren't taught how to be.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly. And especially in this culture, like in the US, we're very active. We're very, you know, doing kind of things. And I think that's why for some people to just meditate or just sit there is going to be harder. And we specifically, we have the guided meditations on our channel. We also have affirmative prayer with music. So music is kind of the base of a lot of what we do. And we're just starting a new one. I think the first one's coming in January, is affirmations. So same kind of thing, affirmations with music, and people can just receive the affirmations and just listen, or they can repeat them back to themselves aloud or silently. There's space to do that. And the first one's about peace, but we're going to have a bunch of different ones. So we're really trying to offer more things, on the channel in that way.
The great thing about the videos for those is that you can close your eyes and just listen and have a guided thing going on, or you can watch and there's these beautiful evocative images that can support the experience of the meditation, right? So for some people, sitting with the eyes closed and just listening is not if they're not auditory as a primary way of, you know, processing the world. But if you're visual, like most people are actually visual primarily, they say, the videos can be really helpful. So I actually have this thing. This is going to sound silly or something. Hopefully don't judge me. But part of what I do in my own work of the Oh My God creation is when we send out, so we have this platform, it's a membership platform for people who have been loving our stuff for a while and want to really support our ministry because we are a nonprofit ministry. We have a membership platform called Patreon.
I want to pause 1 second for that. What that means to people that don't know, this ministry, when you're dealing with ministers, this is what they do. This is their income. So
Yes, it is.
oftentimes, just like New Thought Media Network, people think, isn't this great? But the only way it can be great is if people support it so that it can be done. So I want to just encourage people to understand that there is an ebb and flow. There is a law of circulation. If something is feeding you, you have to nurture and feed it back. So I want to just mention that this Patreon site that you've put together enables you to be able to go on tour, enables you to be able to create these videos and content that you're giving of yourself. So I want to make sure that people understand that it doesn't just happen. I also want to give a shout out to New Thought artists in general, because especially since the pandemic, you know, all of what used to be in person and they'd get paid didn't happen anymore. And everything has been turned upside down, but their giving has been consistent. So you give of yourself when centers that can't afford it to give what really it should be as a fee, you still give of yourselves. And I want to make sure people know that we have these amazing artists that are giving back to us, and please support them. Yes, they're all on YouTube. Yes, you can watch their videos, but please make sure that you understand that you're watching content that costs them money. This is their livelihood. And it's so important that that gets spoken. Even New Thought Media Network, we ask for, you know, we talk about, you know, how to make donations and be a monthly donor, because we're giving to the world and we're choosing to uplift. This is what we do. And it's wonderful, but it still costs money to get out there. So I wanted to just make sure people know it's important.
Yeah. And it's been really wonderful. Patreon for us has been a real game changer. Patreon was created when YouTube changed their rules, and suddenly all these people who were making a lot of money on YouTube weren't making money anymore because they changed the rules. So Jack Conte, I think is how you say him, he's like, we're going to create something for creators. So Patreon is got all kinds of artists and musicians and all these people who were putting all this content out for free and have a following. It was a way for all these creators to say, hey, you like what I do? You want to support me? Come on, here's a way to do it. And we're so grateful for that platform because it's been a real game changer for us. And also now we have a community. I mean, we have, you know, like 200 supporters ish, something around that number right now. And that feels like when we used to, I was saying, I think to our patrons at one point, it used to be when we would make videos and I would look in the video camera, I'm just looking in a dark blank screen. And then once we started Patreon, I'm like, oh, I mean, it's not just our patrons. It goes out to all kinds of folks. But like knowing that we had this dedicated group of people who are supporting us on an ongoing basis. And we give them sneak peeks and, you know, insider information and all that. So it's like, I know that there's a special group, right? And so suddenly that's who I'm looking at in the lens, right? Once we started this, it wasn't just this feeling of being isolated, you know?
And since we've had Patreon, because we didn't start it until we were quite a few years, like we had 4 years, I think,
following.
We had been doing some free content, a lot of free content before that. But when Patreon, so before that, I was still teaching music and having one-on-one spiritual counseling clients to pay the bills for me. Z had they were good because they had a regular job for a while, but I was always an entrepreneurial, self-employed person. So I didn't have like, you know, a 401. One of those things where you get money from previous
70523.
So I was still doing that work and then doing ministry in between, you know, and Patreon allowed me to, as our Patreon grew, I was becoming more and more full-time with less and less of the other work that I had to do, so that now that's why we can do 2 new videos every month on top of, we each have a blog and then Z has the cartoons. So that's why we can do all that. And we couldn't have toured. I couldn't have left for months at a time. Right. So all of that has been possible because of the loving support of our Patreon people who are our family. Right. And so
we're really, it's awesome.
Yeah.
And that's what, it's just important that people understand that, just like anything else, what you do is a service, what you offer, what every minister is, whether it be on a Sunday celebration or, whatever event it may be, I believe everybody has ministry. There's so many people that are, whether it's a nonprofit or it doesn't matter. Your ministry is who it is you're kind to. The people in your family, it could be, your coworkers. Everyone has some form of ministry, and it's what you're sharing with the world. Yours happens to be a spiritual ministry, and you share that joy at a different level. You help people tap into joy on a different level, but you're able to do that because of the people that, can share with. And it's important. And I also want to give a plug out. You have some amazing e-courses.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
We think about classes as, oftentimes.
By the way, this is our ministry mascot.
This is our little mascot, Max.
Who goes on tour with you?
No, we wish. We wish.
No,
we tried. He hates the van, so he gets to stay home. He's happier at home.
We always have. He gets a little kitty sitter for him.
Yeah.
Aww.
We really miss him when we go. I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
Yes, so the courses are also on the website. They're available on the website. Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say too that the on the website, all the different kinds of videos are broken into their little groups. So people can go and say, well, I'm feeling like hearing just a little funny message that is a real message, but kind of little goofy little way of presenting it with some music. That's the Joy Jams. Or I want to do some meditations. Oh, look at, and let's see all the meditations they have. So everything that's on YouTube is also, well, it's organized there too, actually. But but they all have their little, playlists or whatever they're called. So it's easier to find things there. But everything is the portal, the website, ohmygodlife.com, has got everything, including if people want to be on our mailing list. I should say that as a shout out because that's free, Abby. But the mailing, if they're on the mailing list, they can choose, like you and I, Gina, we both get the 5 memes a week. I love getting those. I've seen them as they become available and as they go out in their different places, but I love every day I get this little cartoon and a message in my inbox. I still open it. Oh, I started to say that earlier too, that whenever the Patreon members, I'm a Patreon member of us, of Oh My God Life. So I get a sneak peek of the videos, right? Every time a new video goes out, it goes out to the Patreon members first. And whenever those go out, I watch them. Like I sit and watch them as a, what is it? A user, not as a creator,
as a viewer,
as a viewer. Like I just want to experience it. I've created it, but now I want to see, I want to just be blessed by it, right? So I allow myself to have that too. So but anyway, the classes are also on the website, as well as signing up for the mailing list. And the mailing list, if you're on the mailing list, you get 2 free videos every month in your inbox. Plus we each have a blog. So there's something that goes out every week, and
it's new content too, every week, free inspirational content.
And then you can be, as a separate thing, you can add yourself for every 5 days a week memes to go as an additional thing. But the favorite thing that we have when you're on our mailing list, you have to give us your birth date. But if we have the month and the day of your birthday, then every year we write, we're just in the midst right now of creating next year's. We write and record a new birthday video, a birthday song, a video for a birthday song. And then we send that to our friends on our mailing list.
I love that.
Of their birthday.
That's really fun.
And people on Facebook get a birthday video, but it's last year's. So if you want this year's, you have to be on the mailing list. So so they can get on the mailing list from our website too. But also the classes are there, and there are 5 different classes.
And I wanted to just mention that the classes that you have, oh my God, Radical Transformation. You have one on weight loss, Radiant Health, Bold Beginnings, and Nothing But Now. I love that. I love that. being present, what a gift, and learning how. And these are videos that right there, they have videos that people.
Each class has at least 20 short 5 minutes or less video. And
actually, I looked at 38 was the shortest.
38?
Okay.
38 to 40, like 1 or 2 or something like that.
Well, that's at least 20.
Well, it's at least 20, yeah. So I didn't know that. That's
40-ish.
good. You did your research.
Yeah, about 40. I did my homework. I was paying attention.
Yeah, you did. That's awesome.
I had no idea it was that many. So, and then there's the transcripts for those too, if you'd rather read or if you want to read along. And then each one also has a program that's sort of, it's connected, but it's a whole separate thing, which is a song. It's actually 3 songs, but a song that leads into a guided meditation, a song that leads you out of that guided meditation, and then that song in a more peppy, productive way, production, to bring you out of a meditative state to go function in the world. And that whole experience is really unique. It's unique music and meditation for each of those classes that are, it's the central PowerPoint. I mean, obviously, I think the videos are great too, but
well, the videos are supporting people's progress in doing the guided meditation,
right,
and song work.
Yes,
the chant work.
And we're available. You know, anybody who signs up for any of those classes can write to us at any point and say, you know, hey, I'm having this experience. What do you think? You know, it's like we're available as teachers for that class whenever, even though it's self-paced, right? So people just do them whenever it works for them. And when they sign up, they get them. They can either download them or just they have access for life. And if we update it, they get the new version because they have access for life. So, yeah, and that radical transformation one was the first one that we created. And it was because that meditation is so life-changing for us. It has been such an immense game changer for us in many different facets, like healing different challenges or projects or issues, like that. So, and then the weight loss one is really great because it guides people to their best way of eating. It doesn't say eat like this, you know, it just gets you to your truth of your being's best way of eating for your greatest health. And the radical health is health, same thing, how you get to your practices and way of doing life for your greatest health and like that. And nothing but now is more, it's like really good for people with anxiety or who have challenges being present, you know, because sometimes life is stressful. I have social anxiety, so I know some people do. I think a lot more of us do after COVID too. We got used to being home alone and
yeah.
Well,
and I think there's more awareness. There's a lot more awareness about mental health.
Right.
There used to be back in the day.
Right.
Yeah.
And then new beginnings is for anyone at a crossroads and like that. So they're all for different times, right? I was just thinking we should put your
my flow chart's not on there. We have a flow chart that I designed that helps people pick which class or classes they might want to do. And when we're live, when we're doing a workshop, we have a flyer for all the classes, and on the back is the flow chart to help people, you know, discover which one or ones might work for them. So you're right, we should have that on our website.
It will be on our website soon.
Apparently
I'm writing
it
it down.
Yeah.
Flow chart your website.
It'd be easy enough to put it there because it's just a
it's really helpful
PDF
for people to figure out, well, if I just want to take 2 or 3 and they're cheaper if you buy more, you know. Oh, if you contact us, they're cheaper if you buy more. Okay, you have to contact us for that. But yeah.
I wanted to just ask you, how do you encourage people to find more joy? Of course, your material is there, but if somebody came to you or you're seeing someone, you know, the holidays for some people, we were chatting before this. I'm a big kid. I'm going to show my a little more of my screen for those of you who can't see it. You can see my background. I have all my little stuffed animals, and there's so many more that were in the front here. But the point is that I am so much a big kid. You know, I love it all. I love all that goes along with it. And then there's also a lot of emotions that aren't as joyful.
Yes,
you know, there's times and there's places and there's, you know, there's also loss. There's people go through different things in life. And Absolutely. For some people, the holidays, if you've never had a great loss, congratulations, great for you. And there are a lot of people that are experiencing hard times. Some it's financial, some it's physical, some it's emotional.
Yes.
And, you know, if someone's having a hard time, where do you guide them?
Well, I would say for me, you know, we're really big on building a relationship with spirit, right? Like however that, and for everybody, they're going to have their own unique relationship, right? So I think that, like, for me, meditation is key. Affirmative prayer is key. Being in some kind of community, having some way to talk with other people. And there's a lot of options now for spiritual community. You know, there are a lot of, in Centers for Spiritual Living, for example, there are a lot of places you can stream the Sunday morning online or take classes online. But for me, that's the core thing, is building some kind of connection to something bigger than me, a higher power, and reading inspirational material. I mean, there are a lot of ways to do it. And I think that that's key. And I know a lot of times when you're having a hard time, that's when it's hardest to reach out. And it might even just be committing to reading one page of an inspirational book every day, or connecting with at least one person who you feel safe. You know, but it's just finding that way to get connected spiritually, and it's different for everybody.
Yes. And the other thing, I think that the word joy is I love that word because it's not happy, right? It's very happy implies happy to me. I like being happy. I'm a very happy person, but joyful is there's like a depth to it, because I could be kind of having a hard time and still find joy in my life, because I have so much to be grateful for, and I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful for a lot. And I know that for some people, it's harder to find what there is to be grateful for. And especially in hard times, sometimes we're not focused there. It's harder. It's like, what? I don't care about any of the good stuff because this is so hard right now. And that's something to honor. I mean, we do go through grief. It's important to honor that and go through it. Yeah. So one of the reasons I love the word joy is because to be truly in joy, we need to be doing our work. You can't just like put on a happy face and have a happy holiday, because, you know, it doesn't work like that. There's a term that we love, that we don't love doing, that we don't do. We do our best not to do, but we love the term, which is spiritual bypass. And I think that a lot of some new thought, kind of metaphysical people can fall into the trap of spiritual bypass, because there can be some people who are judgmental. If you're having a hard time, you know, what's wrong with your thinking? How are you creating this? You can get yourself out of this by changing your thinking, which, you know, it's kind of true, but that's not helpful at all. And isn't the whole story, you know,
you feel guilty. Then you feel guilty or you're not sharing it.
Or shamed, right? I mean,
it's a very different, you know, there's a different ways and different perspectives. And, you know, we know all is well, and it may not be my experience in the moment.
Right. Yeah. And so honoring that truth of where we are is the only way to joy. Yeah. Right.
Well, I also love that, you know, joy is an inherent quality of divine. Yeah, it's always there, and it is always available. And for me, but the first book I wrote was called Your Journey to Happiness, because at my darkest time in my life, you know, my mom, father, and sister, stage 4 cancer in a year, and there were still moments of joy. You know, here's my sister was in the midst of transitioning. Here's my dad in another hospital. There's so many different corners of my world upside down. Yet I found myself at times smiling and experiencing joy. Yeah. And I thought, am I losing my mind? And I realized, no, I don't have to feel guilty for moments of joy. It's just being in the awareness of, you know, no matter who you are or where you are, if you see a small child laugh, you will smile. Yeah. And that ability,
all the little kitten videos on YouTube.
Exactly. Right? That's why they're all popular, all the little animal videos.
Exactly.
Yeah. But when you see that in you, it triggers something.
Yes.
If it wasn't already there, it couldn't.
Right.
That's true.
I think it's a natural outcome, joy of spiritual practice, but it isn't something that you have to like make happen.
Right.
And I think for another really important component for us is authenticity. And that includes being honest with all the emotions we have, because yes, we're spiritual and we're human. And it's this weird, we are both of those things. And it's all one, but also sometimes it feels like these two kind of very different parts of us. Yes. And being a human means we have these uncomfortable emotions, right? And it's actually important for us to acknowledge all of those. Yes. Because otherwise we're stuffing things. And so I think, but I do think that a natural outgrowth of doing that, just being authentically ourselves and feeling all our feelings, is then joy naturally comes from that, right? It's a natural outcome, but nothing we have to force.
And meditation for us is so central because as we are aware of our mind, we can begin to be observers. We can begin to have perspective of when is our monkey mind just like spouting toxic BS, and we can choose to then say, oh, that's you. I see you over there doing that, and you're not, that's not true.
Yeah. The mantra, Melissa has a mantra for that.
Yes. Liar, liar, pants on fire.
When the mind is causing mischief.
Yeah. And so we have that ability because of meditation to turn our attention to the joy. Yeah. Right. We have the presence of mind to be able to access it and find it in ourselves or in life when we have more of an awareness of our beingness.
Including going and watching those little kitten videos sometimes, because there is a natural, or seeing a child play and laugh, right? Because that is
kittens and children. That's the best.
Yeah. Or puppies and babies. Yeah. Oh my. But because there is that natural, just life force energy, like you say, it's a quality of the divine. And sometimes we need to do things to help remind us of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also remember, it's okay not to be okay in a moment.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely.
It's just also, you just don't want to stay there.
Right.
I always encourage people in the moment, feel how you feel. Yes. And don't get stuck there. Bring someone with you. If you're going to throw a pity party, take someone with you to take you out of there. So when it's not fun anymore.
Right. Yeah. Like, yay, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, but do not pitch a tent there. Do not buy real estate. Like, you don't have to stay. You don't have to stay there. Yeah. You don't.
Yep.
And too often our society is so busy with the bigger, better, faster, more. That we forget that we're there to be. Where meditation helps us to be in that place of practicing the being. Yes. That still small voice can't make it over the screams of the noise and the busyness. Right. I lived most of my life in chaos, and I didn't understand, and I didn't know any other way. I didn't know how to stop. And for me, it took 2 major cancer surgeries. When I couldn't physically do anything, that's when, okay, I'll stop now because I can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Right.
Unfortunately, that's what it took. And that's part of why I do these shows is I want people to know that peace is accessible. That's my other show is the Peace Circle, on Mondays. And this is finding the joy in the journey because it is accessible from wherever you are. It is accessible. Absolutely. And it's accessible now. It's not, nothing has to happen. Nobody has to change. Your perspective needs to change. And the practices might need to change. But you are the only person that can fix it for you. It's like having spirit to me, fix my eyes. It's not what I'm seeing. People can piss me off. And that's the truth. It happens every day. We all have those experiences. And the people, and, something that I've heard and I try to practice is bless them, fix me. Bless them, fix me. Because they're none of my business. They're not coming home.
And out of your control. Yeah. You can't.
I need to keep myself, fix my eyes so that I am seeing and experiencing life as I choose to.
Right. And seeing a greater truth, the capital T truth.
Right.
because the saying that I've created that I say so often on stage that is my reality is, if I am feeling toxic badness, if I'm feeling toxic badness, not grief or sadness or all those like really pure, organic, good states that we have to have all of life with all its emotions, you know, but if I'm feeling a toxic badness, I am believing a lie. That's true whether I'm feeling toxic badness about me or my life or you or yours. Yeah. So then I can find the truth. If I know that that's true, which I do know is true, and I remember that, then when I'm feeling that way, I can look for the lie and then look on the flip side of the lie is the truth, right? And practice reminding myself till I believe that, till I know that truth in my conscious mind, and toxic badness goes away.
And again, spiritual practice is what can help us continually remember the truth. Right. And there's lots of different forms, like I was saying. So, yeah.
It can be listening to any kind of music. It can be watching a candle. It can be riding a horse. It can be you sitting there petting your cat and really just being in the moment and with that purr and that love. Yes. You know,
absolutely.
So I appreciate all that you do, and I'm so grateful we could finally match up time-wise.
Yes, it took a while. It took a while. Thank you so much, Gina. Thank you for all the work you're doing in the world.
Yes,
both at the CSL Greater Boston as well as the shows you're doing. And we love you. We just got to really chat with you more today. We met you in class a while back, but we got the opportunity to talk with you more today, and we just think you're awesome and amazing, and
thank you.
Also a place of joy, clearly.
Thank you so much.
So we're grateful for all the work you're doing too. Yeah.
Thank you. And I want to make sure people know that this is how they can reach you. info@ohmygodlife.com, and they will definitely reach you with any questions or anything that they may have. There's also on there what they can register right on your website, ohmygodlife.com, and they can register for your emails and all the information they need. And I also want to mention that you have your YouTube, your Facebook, and to have people just remember that, that you're out there to look up and have some fun with. And also for centers, because you do tour. How exciting it is that we are now in a global touring environment, that right from your living room.
We're grateful for that. Yes.
Yes, we got our van during COVID. Like, great, we can tour. Oh, no, you can't. No, you're going to stream from your house.
Yeah. Okay. But now we're back to touring, so it's fun.
Well, I am so excited for all that you have that's coming up, and I am grateful for all that you do in the world. And, I look forward to you coming back after your tour and telling us all about it, and we'll play some more snippets from it. I look forward to it all, and have a wonderful holiday season. Any last words to share with our listeners, our viewers?
I would say happy holidays, but I would say joyful, real holidays.
Real holidays.
Authentic, love-filled holidays.
Celebrate in a way that brings you joy, not what everybody else says you need to do.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So thank you for spreading the love, and I am so grateful that you're here. Thank you to all that have been watching. And if you have any questions at all, of course, you can reach out to Rev Z and Melissa at info@ohmygodlife, or you can also reach out to me, and I am always available at gina@cslboston.org. You can reach out to me as part of the prayer team as well. Know that we are here 8:15 a.m. and p.m. Mountain Time, 7 days a week. We have a prayer team, prayer@ntmedia.org, that is here to help, and know that through these holiday seasons, there are so many of us that are loving you. You are not alone, and we are so grateful to have you here with us. So there's so much more on this network. Know that there's so many more shows that are available to you. Thank you for supporting us. Make sure that you like and forward it to people that you know could use some joy in their lives. So blessings and love. Namaste. Have a fabulous week, everyone.
behalf of everyone at New Thought Media Network, thank you for being a member of our virtual family. Your financial contributions help share the New Thought message with people from around the world. Please visit and contribute at www.ntmedia.org/donate.